Blake Lively leaked Justin Baldoni text messages and dark secret. Leaked text messages between actress Blake Lively and actor-director Justin Baldoni offer a glimpse into the inner workings of their crisis management team during a massive lawsuit. One message from Lively reads, "You know we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. It will be very tough." This suggests an attempt to influence the situation, potentially by discrediting a key figure, while acknowledging the risks involved. Another message reads, "Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands." This highlights concerns about potential leaks and the damaging consequences of sensitive information falling into the wrong hands. A separate text from Justin Baldoni's publicist, Jennifer Abel, reads, "Having reckless thoughts of wanting to plant pieces this week about how horrible Blake is to work with." This reveals a potential strategy to damage Lively's reputation as part of their crisis management efforts. These leaked texts provide evidence of the lengths to which the crisis management team went to shift the narrative and control the public perception of the situation. The Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit has escalated, with Lively's team alleging a multi-tiered plan to destroy her reputation. This plan, they claim, was acknowledged by Baldoni's team as social manipulation and was initiated after Lively raised concerns about on-set conditions. Baldoni's crisis team has reportedly named Taylor Swift and her alleged weaponization of feminism as part of this alleged scheme to take down Lively. Leaked text messages, which Lively's team claims were submitted as part of the legal complaint to the California Civil Rights Department. The lawsuit also includes serious allegations against Baldoni, including claims that he entered Lively's trailer while she was undressed and allowed others to watch her. This case has drawn comparisons to the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial due to its high-profile nature, intense public scrutiny, and the serious allegations involved. It's important to note that these are just allegations at this stage. Both sides have vehemently denied the opposing parties' claims. The truth of the matter will ultimately be determined by the courts. Prior to August 2nd, Justin Baldoni hired crisis management expert Melissa Nathan, known for her work with Johnny Depp, to join his public relations team. This team also included publicist Jennifer Abel. Blake Lively's legal team alleges that a critical staff meeting was held on January 4th to address a hostile work environment that nearly halted the film's production. The lawsuit raises questions about the extent to which film production was aware of these concerns and whether they continued production despite them. The meeting reportedly involved Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, CEO of Wayfarer Studios, and producer of It Ends With Us, and others. The lawsuit alleges that Justin Baldoni engaged in inappropriate behavior, including showing Blake Lively nude videos and images of other women, discussing his intense adult video addiction, making inappropriate comments about her weight, her late father, and other cast and crew members. The lawsuit alleges that an agreement was made that neither Jamie Heath nor Justin Baldoni would enter or attempt to enter Blake Lively's trailer while she was not wearing clothes. This agreement highlights the seriousness of the alleged inappropriate behavior and raises questions about the awareness of film producers regarding the situation. The lawsuit further alleges an incident where Justin Baldoni, out of character, slowly dragged his lips from her ear to her neck, stating, "It smells so good." When Blake Lively objected, Baldoni allegedly retorted, "I'm not even attracted to you." Following a meeting in January 2024 involving Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, producers, and Ryan Reynolds, Wayfarer Studios reportedly agreed to implement the use of an intimacy coordinator for all scenes involving nudity or simulated adult scenes. Blake Lively's legal team alleges that leaked text messages reveal a smear campaign orchestrated by Justin Baldoni's crisis management team. The messages, included in the legal complaint, allegedly expose a multi-tiered plan described by Baldoni and his team as social manipulation aimed at destroying Blake's reputation. This alleged campaign, according to Lively's team, was initiated after she expressed concerns about on-set conditions. The lawsuit details several production conflicts, including Blake Lively's discomfort with certain scenes, leading her to bring in her own editor during post-production. Her version of the film was ultimately chosen for release. It is reported that some crew members allegedly lost their jobs due to Lively's insistence on creative control. Anticipating potential challenges during the marketing campaign, Wayfarer Studios proactively hired a crisis manager alongside their own representative. This decision was reportedly influenced by Ms. Lively's alleged disruptive behavior during production, including threats to boycott filming and promotion, which posed a risk to the film's success. Furthermore, the lawsuit alleges that Ms. Lively, through her representative Leslie Sloan, who also represents Ryan Reynolds, orchestrated the dissemination of negative and fabricated stories in the media even before the film's marketing campaign began. This prompted Wayfarer Studios to engage a crisis professional to develop internal strategies to address potential negative publicity. A forensic review commissioned by Blake Lively from a brand marketing consultant revealed a significant increase in negative media coverage and online commentary following the film's release, suggesting that efforts to tarnish her public image may have been successful. Here's a rewritten version of the provided text. Blake Lively's career and on-set concerns. Blake Lively boasts a successful career, rising to fame through her role in Gossip Girl. This early success propelled her into a diverse filmography, including The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and The Town. Beyond acting, she has built multiple businesses, graced numerous magazine covers, and amassed a significant social media following, over 45 million on Instagram. According to her legal complaint, Ms. Lively expressed concerns about Justin Baldoni from the project's outset, specifically objecting to the inclusion of what she deemed gratuitous adult scenes. The film's August 6th premiere coincided with press coverage speculating about behind-the-scenes tensions. A Hollywood Reporter article explored the possibility of a rift between Lively and Baldoni, citing observations from TikTok users regarding the absence of joint photographs and lack of Instagram followership between the two stars and other cast members, Chos director. Following the film's release, Blake Lively faced a wave of online criticism. The extent to which this negative publicity was orchestrated by Justin Nathan, Mr. Wallace and their team, or simply observed and amplified by them, remains unclear. The recent lawsuit allegations against Justin Baldoni have come as a shock to many, given his public advocacy for a re-evaluation of traditional masculinity. Baldoni is the co-host of the Webby Award-nominated podcast Man Enough, alongside writer Liz Plank. The podcast aims to create a safe space for open and honest discussions about masculinity, welcoming diverse perspectives. In a previous Instagram post about an event focused on stopping domestic violence, Baldoni wrote, "My hope is that we can teach our boys, while they are still young, that vulnerability is strength, sensitivity is a superpower, and empathy makes them powerful. Being a boy and a man is amazing, and nothing to apologize for, and to value all the beautiful and complicated parts of them that make them human."
Blake Lively has been in some hot water recently when it's come to how she's been treating people and the subject matter of her new film, It Ends With Us. Now in this time, people have spoken out against her and her old feuds have been brought to light. Now she's obviously been having some issues with her co-star and director of the film, Justin Baldoni. Eagle-eyed fans pointed out that Justin was noticeably absent from joint press events for the movie, and there were no big cast photos from the New York City premiere. Now some creators on TikTok claim tensions began when Lively brought her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to help with the film's creative direction, despite Justin directing. According to a source who spoke to Us Weekly, there were two camps on the film, Team Blake and Team Justin. Now this creative struggle set the tone for the negative experience behind the scenes, and grew into them not speaking anymore. Now Justin only appeared on the red carpet solo and side by side with his wife Emily and other friends and family, but never with Blake or other co-stars. According to People magazine, Justin also allegedly didn't introduce the film ahead of the screening with Blake and Colleen Hoover, despite being the director and a star of the film, which is a little strange. He then made some of a backhanded compliment on the red carpet, saying, "I think there are better people for that one," he told Entertainment Tonight when asked if he'd pull double duty again for the possible next installment. He added, "I think Blake Lively is ready to direct, that's what I think." Now, the whole world has has heard about this, and they have compared how sensitive Justin has spoken about the serious subject matter of the film, while Blake has been more lighthearted and aloof. Now, because of this, Blake has been called out by others. Meghan McCain called out Blake for how insensitive she'd been while talking about DV. Meghan cited her experience with helping a close friend leave a DV situation as the basis for her feelings on the matter, and she said that she took issue with how Blake answered questions about the film on her recent tour for the project. If you're taking on the responsibility of telling the story about a woman in a DV situation, you have to be respectful that you're representing victims, millions and millions of women and men who are victims of DV. I was very surprised at some of her responses. She said, "I think the tone she's setting in a lot of the press with this saying, 'Put on your florals and come together, girls.'" Meghan said she doesn't want to put florals on and go out with her girlfriends and watch a fun girl movie about DV. The suggestion of which she called very insensitive and quite frankly strange. Meghan then went on to say that she doesn't even understand why Blake is even famous other than Gossip Girl and being married to Ryan Reynolds. Then a journalist came out of the woodworks and exposed Blake for being horrible during an interview in 2016. Journalist Kirsty Flaw posted a clip of a 2016 interview with the star, which she said made her want to quit her job. In the clip, Blake is promoting the movie Cafe Society and is joined by her co-star Parker Posey. Now, this interview happened months after Blake announced her pregnancy, so the journalist congratulated her by starting off the interview with saying, congratulating her on her little bump. Now, Blake didn't like this and mocked her by repeating, "Congrats on your little bump." Now, Kirsty was clearly not pregnant, and she has now explained that she's infertile, so that comment hurt her even more. Now, Blake was just straight up rude, and it was unacceptable. In a new interview, Kirsty said she would welcome an apology from Blake, but said that she thought it was unlikely to happen. If she wants to apologize, that would be amazing, she said. "I think if you behave badly, if you own up to that and own it and say, 'I had a terrible day, I'm sorry,' maybe she will learn from that and not behave like that again. Of course that would be welcomed." Now, Kirsty later thanked people who had been sending her supportive messages, and she said that people who bullied and had mean girl energy should be called out in Hollywood and held accountable. She then said, "I want to shout out Kristen Stewart, who was the person I interviewed after the horrific incident, and she was the most wonderful, wonderful person to interview. She saved my day. You know, I was terrified walking into that interview because I had just experienced what I had, so for her to just treat me like, she was just so sweet, and I'm so happy I interviewed her afterwards." Now, Anna Kendrick starred in a movie alongside Blake in 2018 called A Simple Favor, but there were rumors that the two were feuding. According to In Touch, tension between the women stemmed from Anna making fun of Blake's best friend, Taylor Swift. During their press tour for A Simple Favor, the tension between the pair was palpable in interviews as they made sarcastic jokes and comments about each other. The Celebrity Memoir Book Club podcast, run by New York City comedians Claire Parker and Ashley Hamilton, claimed that the two women were not speaking by the time shooting wrapped on their movie. Now, the allegation came from an insider that claimed to work at the film studio. They hated each other. The studio even had to talk to them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious, the insider alleged. Now, the source claimed that Anna in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake. Then, during an interview with BuzzFeed, the actors recounted an incident where Blake was exceptionally late to filming, while Anna was not informed about the schedule change and was left waiting. "That was the day I decided I hated you," Kendrick said, leading to an awkward moment where Blake clumsily tried to justify her tardiness. "We were all talking about you," she later told her. In a conversation with Kirsty Flaw, that same interviewer, Anna suggested that she had muted Blake on Instagram and even told her not to touch her during an interview with MTV News, physically distancing herself. Now, Leighton Meester starred alongside Blake in the teen drama Gossip Girl, but it appeared that the two who played best friends on the show were not nearly as close in real life, as various sources, including one of the show's creators, revealed that the pair did not get along in between takes. In 2008, as Gossip Girl entered its second season, New York Magazine reported that the two actresses avoid each other like the plague, according to one source. The outlet also reported on a daily news piece that hinted at the women's strained relationship, suggesting one actor felt like she was being replaced by the other as the show's main star. Additionally, according to a Harper's Bazaar report, Leighton felt like Blake was too self-centered. The feud narrative was somewhat confirmed by one of the show's executive producers, Joshua Safran, in 2017. 2014. In an interview with Vanity Fair, he shared, "Blake and Leighton were not friends, they were friendly, but they were not friends like Serena and Blair," citing personality differences as the primary reason. Now, in the years following the conclusion of Gossip Girl, many cast members have reunited, except for Blake and Leighton, so it appears that there really was some type of feud between them. Now, Leighton wasn't the only person Blake had an issue with on the set of Gossip Girl. Apparently, she had an issue with guest star Armie Hammer. In 2017, while appearing on Watch What Happens Live, Armie seemed to address his controversial departure from the show. When asked who was the biggest diva on Gossip Girl, the actor looked nervous as he attempted to remain diplomatic. "Let me just say, it was a tough show to film, and I didn't end up actually filming all the scenes I was supposed to because it was so tough," he said. Now, host Andy Cohen then pressed, "Oh really? So you were like, get me out of this?" It was also like, "Get him out of here," he replied. He then insinuated that his love interest in the show wanted him out of the show, suggesting that it was down to Blake. Yikes.
As It Ends With Us heads towards a promising opening weekend at the box office, the movie is unexpectedly capturing attention on social media, and not all of it is positive. TikTok has been buzzing with rumors about a potential rift between star producer Blake Lively and her co-star Justin Baldoni, who also directed the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's popular novel. The social media frenzy surrounding It Ends With Us is reminiscent of the online scrutiny seen during the release of films like Don't Worry Darling, remember the infamous Spitgate, or even Madam Web. Fans and followers are dissecting the movie's press appearances with the dedication of a secret spy. Sources have informed The Hollywood Reporter that tensions arose during the post-production phase, leading to the creation of two different cuts of the movie. The TikTok investigation into It Ends With Us kicked off when fans noticed Baldoni's conspicuous absence from joint promotional events, the lack of photos featuring both Lively and Baldoni at the New York premiere, and the fact that neither Lively, Hoover, nor other cast members follow Baldoni on Instagram, though he does follow them. This raised eyebrows, especially since Hoover and Baldoni had previously appeared together on each other's Instagram accounts during the movie's development. Social media users also began speculating that Lively enlisted her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to take control of the film's creative direction. This theory gained traction when Lively revealed at the world premiere that Reynolds had written a key rooftop scene early in the movie. Quote, "We help each other. He works on everything I do, I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his," she explained. The film's script was penned by Christy Hall. According to multiple insiders, while Reynolds did contribute significant dialogue for the scene, he, of course, did not write the entire thing. Beyond that, Reynolds had little time to focus on his wife's film as he was deeply immersed in working with director Sean Levy on Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine has been one of the most talked about films in recent years, bringing together two of the most beloved characters from the Marvel Universe. The film, a sequel in the wildly successful Deadpool franchise, features Reynolds reprising his role as the wisecracking, fourth-wall-breaking anti-hero, while Hugh Jackman returned as Wolverine, much to the delight of fans. The chemistry between Reynolds and Jackman, both on and off-screen, has been a major selling point, contributing to the film's massive box office success and critical acclaim. Blake Lively herself had a highly anticipated and rumored role in the movie, and although her face was never revealed in the film, she did have a few speaking lines as she played the character of Lady Pool. Ryan and Blake weren't the only members of the Reynolds family seen in the Deadpool cast, however. Lively and Reynolds are parents to 4 children, daughters James, Inez, and Betty, and a son named Olin. 3 of them make appearances in the movie. In Deadpool and Wolverine, Lady Pool has a baby, fittingly named Baby Pool, portrayed by the couple's youngest child, Olin. Inez takes on the role of Kid Pool, and and even has a speaking line. Their eldest daughter, 9-year-old James, also makes a brief appearance as a screaming mutant. This is all to say this has clearly been an exceptionally busy year for the Reynolds family. With Deadpool and Wolverine enjoying tremendous success, it's easy to see why Reynolds was so focused on this project, leaving limited time to dedicate to It Ends With Us. She reportedly had enough influence to commission her own version of the movie. Multiple sources revealed that Lively requested a cut of the movie from editor Shane Reed, who also worked on Deadpool and Wolverine, and edited the Lively directed music video for Taylor Swift's I Bet You Think About Me. It remains unclear if any part of this cut made it into the final version, which was credited to editors Una Flaherty and Rob Sullivan. One insider downplayed the rumors of conflict, noting that it's not uncommon for multiple versions of a film to emerge during post-production, and the team ultimately agreed on the final cut. Representatives for Lively and Baldoni have not responded to requests for comment. Baldoni has acknowledged Lively's creative contributions in interviews, but has not commented on the alleged competing cuts of the movie. He did mention stepping back at times to let the women on set take the lead, as the film centers around a woman's perspective and addresses the sensitive topic of domestic violence. Hoover has published a sequel, the 2022 novel It Starts With Us. Baldoni has not committed to directing another film in the franchise, although his character plays a key role in the sequel. It remains unclear whether the studio will be able to bring the team back together for another installment. In the end, the buzz surrounding It Ends With Us might fade once the film hits theaters, but unlike Don't Worry Darling and Madam Web, it's expected to be a financial success, projected to earn $23 million or more during its opening weekend, a solid result for a movie with a $25 million budget. And if pre-sales are any indication, that number could definitely climb even higher. In the world of Colleen Hoover film adaptations, It Ends With Us isn't the only movie on the docket. Verity marks the third adaptation of a Colleen Hoover novel. The first was Confess, a romance novel published in 2015, which became a TV series in 2017. The series aired for one season on Go 90 and consisted of 7 episodes, starring Katie Leclerc and Ryan Cooper. The second adaptation, obviously, is It Ends With Us, which premiered in theaters on August 9th. While many details about Verity are still unknown, it remains one of Hoover's most popular books, with over 1 million copies sold and frequent appearances on bestseller lists. This highly anticipated adaptation is unlikely to keep us waiting for too long. Verity has already become one of the most eagerly awaited adaptations, even though filming hasn't even started yet. Since this bestseller is still in the early stages of development, details are limited. However, there are a few things that we do know about the upcoming Colleen Hoover adaptation. At this moment in time, Verity does not have a release date. Since production hasn't begun, it's unclear whether the film will be released in a few years or much further down the line. The earliest we might see Verity in theaters is likely 2025 or 2026. The production team may wait to see how the movie adaptation of It Ends With Us performs at the box office. If it's a big hit, they might expedite production to capitalize on that success. The It Ends With Us trailer garnered over 128 million views in the first 24 hours, which definitely bodes well for its box office potential. Verity shares similarities with films like Gone Girl, A Simple Favor, Rebecca, and Vertigo, creating a sense of distrust between the viewer and the characters. If the film leans into these elements, it could become a very gripping thriller with plenty of twists and turns. The story follows Loan Ashley, a writer struggling in her career who gets a life-changing opportunity to ghostwrite for a best-selling author. After a car accident leaves Verity Crawford in a coma, Loan moves into her home and begins to grow close to Verity's husband, Jeremy. As she settles in, Loan uncovers dark secrets that blur the lines between truth and fiction. The narrative toys with the reader's sense of reality, and the film could explore whether Loan's imagination is at play or if there's something more sinister going on. The book's intriguing storyline already has a very cinematic feel, which should make the transition to the screen even smoother. Hilary Seitz is currently set to write the the Verity screenplay. Her previous work includes Christopher Nolan's Insomnia, Eagle Eye, and the recent Sandra Bullock and Viola Davis film The Unforgivable, which also featured a very thought-provoking ending. Although we know Verity is in the works, many details remain under wraps. It's difficult to predict the cast for Verity due to the film's very high potential. Casting news for these characters will likely spark discussions similar to the buzz surrounding Blake Lively's casting in It Ends With Us.
There is currently a lot of drama going on with the film It Ends With Us, most specifically with Blake Lively. Now the internet has begun to turn on her, and here's everything that's happened. So starting off, the book it's based off of has been called problematic for romanticizing sensitive topics like DV. The author, Colleen Hoover, also has some controversies, but besides all of this, the movie was made. Now Blake Lively stars as the main character Lily Bloom, and she's also a producer on the film. She co-stars with Jason Baldoni, who is also the director of the film. Now, with these two having more control over the project than just acting in it, it's no surprise that there were some altercations. Fans on social media have pointed out that the pair have not appeared together for any press or any photos together. Over the past week, Justin has spoken to Access Hollywood, Today, Entertainment Tonight, and Good Morning America, while Blake has spoken to Vogue, Capital FM, and CBS Mornings. Justin only appeared on the red carpet solo and side-by-side with his wife Emily and other friends and family at the premiere, but never with Lively or other co-stars. Now according to Paper Magazine, Justin also allegedly didn't introduce the film ahead of the screening with Blake and Colleen Hoover, despite being the director and star of the film, which is a little strange. Unnamed sources told The Hollywood Reporter there were fractures among the filmmakers in post-production, and that Lively, who was a producer on the film, had commissioned her own cut of the film from editor Shane Reed, who was the editor on her husband Ryan Reynolds' film Deadpool and Wolverine. Another source told The Hollywood Reporter Blake's cut may not indicate a feud, as it's not uncommon for a film to undergo multiple cuts during post-production, and the filmmaking team agreed on the final cut, but who knows what truly happened. Then people got really upset when Blake spoke about how involved her husband Ryan Reynolds was in the film. Blake added her own fuel to the fire when she revealed that her husband wrote part of the rooftop scene in the film. The iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that, but you know, Blake said. Now, apparently this is normal. As Blake said, we help each other all the time. He works on everything I do, I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his. Now, multiple unnamed sources told The Hollywood Reporter that Ryan did not write the entire scene, which is a good thing. Now, this could have made Justin upset, and fans seem to speculate that Blake and Ryan may have taken over, effectively stepping on Justin's toes. Now, Blake told Hits Radio UK about one clash she had on set, which she said she is not supposed to be talking about, though she did not specify who it was with, claiming they begged her to remove a Lana Del Rey song from the film. Now, Justin told Elle on Monday that there's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this, but said that friction is what creates the beautiful art. Blake has been called out though about how she's treated the promotion of this film. She's been promoting the film as a rom-com when it covers serious topics. It's a drama and not a rom-com. At the premiere, her husband Ryan attended, but so did his Deadpool 3 co-star Hugh Jackman. A lot of people claimed that it felt like Blake and Ryan were trying to recreate the magic of the Barbie and Oppenheimer movie premieres last summer. But due to the nature of It Ends With Us, it's just not the right thing to do at all. It seemed like all Blake cared about was reaching high numbers at the box office and looking good, not trying to tell the story of a DV victim and bring awareness to the issues in the film. Blake has also been blasted as tone deaf and shallow after she hosted an interview with her It Ends With Us co-stars and failed to discuss the serious message behind the movie. Blake sat down with fellow cast members Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferrer, as well as author Colleen last week to discuss the new flick, and many people were left unimpressed by the lighthearted nature of their conversation. The four women giggled together as they discussed everything from their dream jobs to zodiac signs, but there was no mention of DV during their chat, and social medias were quick to slam them, particularly Blake, who hosted the interview, for partaking in the breezy questionnaire given the serious nature of the film and for failing to speak about the topic. Immediately, outraged viewers flocked to the comment section to criticize them. "I'm very confused, you missed the entire purpose of the movie, I'm sad and disappointed," one person wrote. "Can you please promote it appropriately inappropriately, another asked. Now someone else added, Blake is only here for the fashion and that's all. She ain't interested in the message this movie brings. Shallow. However, several hours later, Blake took to Instagram to share information about DV, as well as some resources for her followers. She directed her followers to a series of links, which included a phone number for victims of DV, as well as statistics and other information. But that interview wasn't the only time she acted weird during an interview for the film. In a recent Jake's Takes interview hosted by Jake Hamilton, Blake, who appears alongside her co-star Brandon, is asked about how people affected by the movie might approach her in public to discuss some of its themes. If someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? Now Blake then decided to answer this in what she thought was a funny way, I guess. Blake proceeded to make a joke as she sarcastically questioned, like asking for my address or my phone number or like location share, and she continued to joke but eventually answered more seriously. But that really wasn't the right tone at all. Now several internet users have been left appalled at Blake's initial dismissive response to Jake's question. Now while Blake has touched on the movie's darker side occasionally, she has been lighthearted for most of the press tour. For example, she's focused much of her energy on her floral looks, which reference her character's name and profession. She even says in the film's official TikTok account's promotional clip, "Grab your friends, wear your florals," as she encourages people to watch the movie. Which, is that really an appropriate thing to say? No, not really. Then Blake has also been using the film to promote some of her own businesses. She promoted her drinks company, Betty Buzz, and actually unveiled some floral-inspired cocktails for the film. She then created Betty Blooms, a limited series of bouquets housed in Betty Buzz bottles, as a tie-in to her character's love for flowers. Now she also used the promo to announce her new hair care line. At the premiere of It Ends With Us, fans also accused Blake of promoting her business for personal gain. Now during the red carpet event, fans noticed that Blake discussed her hairline rather than focusing on conversations surrounding DV awareness. Others also noticed that Blake's Instagram bio is a link to her hair care line's profile, whereas her co-star Justin's is a link to a non-profit organization focused on helping victims of DV. Now it's just very two different approaches to this, but Blake's is falling short. Norwegian interviewer Kirsty Flaw, who goes by Kirsty, has uploaded her 2016 interview with Blake that was so uncomfortable it made her want to quit her journalism career. Kirsty posted a video simply called "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job" to her popular YouTube channel earlier this week, and viewers have been left horrified by the 4-minute long footage. In the clip, Brooke is promoting the movie Cafe Society and is joined by her co-star Parker Posey. Now the movie came out in July 2016, and this interview would have taken place at around the same time. That year, Blake had announced her pregnancy at the Met Gala that May, but she appeared to take offense when Kirsty starts the interview by congratulating her on her little bump. "Congrats on your little bump," Blake mockingly retorts to Kirsty, who visibly isn't pregnant. Now, appearing to purposely exclude Kirsty from the conversation, Blake and Parker seem to almost ignore her. It was extremely rude and horrible, and people in the comments called them out. Yeah, this doesn't look good for her at all, and with all this stuff coming out, it's making Blake lose fans.
Blake Lively sues Justin Baldoni over on-set behavior. Blake Lively has officially accused her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni of a pattern of inappropriate behavior amounting to harassment. This isn't a single incident, but a sustained pattern of conduct. Blake Lively also claims Justin Baldoni said he could speak to the dead and talked to her recently deceased dad. Allegations of on-set misconduct have led Blake Lively to sue Justin Baldoni, who both directed and starred opposite her in It Ends With Us. The lawsuit comes after fans observed tension between the two. Lively further alleges a coordinated smear campaign intended to discredit her after she raised concerns about Justin Baldoni's behavior. This suggests an attempt to damage her reputation and undermine her credibility. The formal complaint and lawsuit. Lively has filed a lawsuit. The complaint details the specific instances of alleged harassment and outlines the alleged smear campaign. The nature of the alleged harassment. The text states the alleged harassment crossed professional boundaries and created a hostile work environment on set. The alleged smear campaign, Lively claims. The smear campaign was a deliberate effort to discredit her after she raised concerns. She alleges the campaign involved individuals within or associated with WME. further complicating the situation given the agency's dual representation. This suggests potential internal conflicts and raises questions about who within WME might be involved. The conflict of interest, WME's dual representation. Both Lively and Justin Baldoni are represented by the same talent agency, William Morris Endeavor, WME. This creates a significant conflict of interest. Despite representing both, WME has chosen to continue representing Lively. This is a crucial detail that lends weight to her allegations. It suggests WME has taken her claims seriously and potentially found them credible. WME's stance and its implications. WME's decision to maintain representation of Lively despite also representing Justin Baldoni is significant. This suggests several possibilities. Internal investigation. WME may have conducted an internal investigation and found evidence supporting Lively's claims. Prioritizing protection. It may reflect a broader industry trend of prioritizing the protection of those who report misconduct. Legal considerations. WME may be acting on legal advice to avoid potential liability. Regardless of the specific reasons, WME's decision sends a powerful message that the allegations are being taken seriously. This situation highlights the inherent conflicts of interest that can exist within the entertainment industry, particularly within talent agencies that represent multiple parties involved in disputes. The outcome of this case could influence how similar situations are handled in the future, setting precedents for how agencies address conflicts of interest and how allegations of misconduct are investigated and addressed. In summary, the situation is complex and involves serious allegations of harassment and a subsequent smear campaign, compounded by a significant conflict of interest due to WME's dual representation. WME's decision to stand by Lively is a key indicator of the seriousness of the situation and suggests a potential shift in how such matters are handled within the industry.
There has been a lot of drama in the past week with the cast of It Ends With Us, and we're discovering a bunch of celebs who don't only hate the lead actress, Blake Lively, but her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as well. Prior to the opening on Friday, August 9th, internet users suspected that there was some kind of feud going on with Blake and her co-star and director of the film, Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni partially linked to the movie's final cut. Now, the feud speculation originally began to swirl when fans noticed that Blake doesn't follow Justin on Instagram, nor does anyone else in the cast. Now, eagle-eyed fans also pointed out that Justin was noticeably absent from joint press events for the movie, and there was no big cast photos from the New York City premiere. Now, some creators on TikTok claim tensions began when Lively brought her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to help on the film's creative direction despite Justin's directing. Blake added her own fuel to the fire when she revealed that her husband, Ryan, wrote part of the rooftop scene in the film. The iconic rooftop scene, "My husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows that but you now," Blake said. Now, apparently this is normal, as Blake has said that we help each other. He works on everything I do, I work on everything he does, so his wins, his celebrations are mine and mine are his. Obviously could have made Justin upset, as fans seem to speculate that Blake and Ryan may have taken over, effectively stepping on Justin's toes. Now, a source even told The Hollywood Reporter that 2 different cuts of the movie emerged, though it's unclear who determined the final cut. Then he made some of a backhanded compliment on the red carpet to Blake. I think there are better people for that one, Justin told Entertainment Tonight when asked if he'd pull double duty again for the possible next installment. He added, "I think Blake Lively is ready to direct, that's what I think." The film's team, including Lively, have been criticized for their lighthearted promotion of what is a serious subject matter. Now, Blake has used the film to promote her brand, Betty Buzz, by selling Betty Blooms, a limited series of bouquets housed in Betty Buzz bottles, as a tie-in to her character's love of flowers. Now, a lot of people think this has been done in poor taste, not to mention that Ryan has brought his Deadpool 3 co-star Hugh Jackman to the premiere in an effort to promote their movie as well. Now, Justin only appeared on the red carpet solo and side by side with his wife Emily and other friends and family, but never with Blake or other co-stars. According to People magazine, Justin also allegedly didn't introduce the film ahead of the screening with Blake and Colleen Hoover, despite being the director and star of the film, which is just a little strange. But if I were Justin and I had to deal with all that, I'd be upset and as a result disconnected from my project as well. This whole incident is giving Don't Worry Darling energy with Harry Styles, Florence Pugh, and Olivia Wilde. Now we all know how that ended, so it doesn't look too good with the cast of It Ends With Us. We'll just have to wait and see what new details come out about the cast and see what happens, but I'm sure the truth will come out eventually. Then there's also been rumors that Scarlett Johansson is not a fan of the couple, as she feels Blake stole Ryan from her. Before he was Blake's husband and the father of her 4 children, Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. Now the pair got married in September 2008 after a year of dating, but cancelled it quits just 2 years later. Their divorce was finalized in 2011, coinciding with when Ryan started dating Blake, which raised some eyebrows. Ryan and Blake met on the set of Green Lantern before he had officially separated from Scarlett, leading to rumors that there was some infidelity in the relationship. Now Ryan and Scarlett cited their hectic work lives as the primary reason for their split, but reports suggested that Scarlett believed Blake was to blame for the fallout of her marriage. Scarlett feels like Blake actually stole Ryan from her because it was when he started shooting Green Lantern with Blake in 2010 that everything fell apart, a source told the National Enquirer. Now additionally, in 2011, a source told Us Weekly that Scarlett carried some resentment towards Blake for ruining her chances of reconnecting with Ryan. And hey, that seems like a valid reason to hate someone. Well, at least to me it does. Now, neither Scarlett or Ryan have ever discussed what really happened, but Scarlett did admit to relating to her Marriage Story character, who gets cheated on. In an interview with Variety Fair, the actor shared, "I had some kind of shared experience with the character, or with any person going through a divorce really." Now, I feel like that's definitely a hint of what she went through, so I don't blame her for hating Blake at all. Then in 2022, Deadpool actor TJ Miller slammed his co-star Ryan Reynolds, claiming he was horrifically mean on set and that he would never work with him again. Now that sang true, as he was not a part of the 3rd Deadpool film. Would I work with him again? No, I sort of wish him well because he's so good as Deadpool, and I think it's weird that he hates me, he said on the Adam Carolla Show podcast. We had a really weird moment on Deadpool where Reynolds said, "Let's do one more take," and then as the character, he was horrifically mean to me, but to me as if I was Weasel. He was like, "You know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. You do just enough exposition that it's funny and we can leave and get back to the real movie." I just kind of listened and thought it was weird, and I got off stage and walked over and the whole crew was acting weird. Everybody was looking at each other like, what the F is he doing? Everybody was like, why is Ryan doing this? "I just think he's kind of an insecure dude," TJ continued. Now TJ then said he would not do a 3rd Deadpool film even if he was offered twice as much money, which, like, yikes, I feel like that says a lot. Now he continued on by saying, "I think he should make a Deadpool 3 and continue to make movies. I just think he doesn't like me, and I thought it was weird how he expressed that." Now the actor went on to give his opinion on Ryan's wife, Blake Lively, who was expecting their 4th child at the time, and their relationship. "I only met her once, but I had to look at her pregnancy pictures she showed so the paparazzi would go away," he said, referring to a post Blake made online. "Their public image is very well curated. That's really all I know to say about that. The brand is likable." But I guess it wasn't really likable to him. And finally we have Leighton Meester. Leighton starred alongside Blake in the teen drama Gossip Girl, but it appeared that the two who played best friends on the show were not nearly as close in real life. Various sources, including one of the show's creators, revealed that Lively and Meester did not get along between takes. In 2008, as Gossip Girl entered its 2nd season, New York Magazine reported that the 2 actresses avoid each other like the plague, according to a source. The outlet also reported on a Daily News piece that hinted at the woman's strained relationship, suggesting one actor felt like she was being replaced by the other as the show's main star. Additionally, according to a Harper's Bazaar report, Leighton felt like Blake was too self-centered. Now the feud narrative was somewhat confirmed by one of the show's executive producers, Joshua Safran, in 2017. But they were not friends like Serena and Blair, citing personality differences as the primary reason. In the years following the conclusion of Gossip Girl, many cast members have reunited, except for Blake and Leighton. So it appears that there really was some type of feud between them. While people have been praising Blake and Ryan's relationship for years, it appears that some people are turning on the couple and trying to expose them for who they really are. In a new twist of events, one of Blake Lively's cast members from the film It Ends With Us has spoken up about all the drama surrounding the movie and Blake herself. Brandon Skellner has defended co-star Blake Lively, author Colleen Hoover, and the other women behind the film against online negativity. He addressed the criticism surrounding the film's cast in a lengthy Instagram post, saying, "I wanted to take a minute and address all the stuff swirling online," he began. "Colleen and the women of this cast stand for hope, perseverance, and for women choosing a better life for themselves. Vilifying the women who put so much of their heart and soul into making this film because they believe so strongly in its message seems counterproductive and detracts from what this film is about. It is, in fact, the opposite of the point. What may or may not have happened behind the scenes does not and hopefully should not detract from what our intentions were in making the film. It's been disheartening to see the amount of negativity being projected online," he continued. Now, he said this because there have been a lot of rumors online that Blake was feuding with her other co-star and director of the film, Justin Baldoni. Now, a lot of internet sleuths have been trying to research to see what's been going on, as the pair didn't interact with each other at the premiere or do any interviews or even take any photos together. Clearly, something happened. Now, Blake has also faced additional fan criticism for her tone-deaf approach to promoting the movie. She's been promoting this film as a rom-com when it covers serious topics. It's not a rom-com, and at the premiere, her husband Ryan Reynolds attended, but so did his Deadpool 3 co-star Hugh Jackman. A lot of people have claimed that it felt like Blake and Ryan were trying to recreate the magic of the Barbie and Oppenheimer movie premieres last summer. But due to the nature of It Ends With Us, it's just not the right thing to do at all. It seemed like all Blake cared about was reaching high numbers at the box office and looking good, not trying to tell the story of a DV victim and bring awareness to the issues in the film. Now, Blake has also been blasted as tone-deaf and shallow after she hosted an interview with her It Ends With Us co-stars and failed to discuss the serious messages behind the movie. Blake sat down with fellow cast members Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferrer, as well as the author Colleen last week to discuss the new movie, but all they really talked about was their zodiac signs and their dream jobs. There was no mention of DV during their chat at all, and social media users were quick to slam them, particularly Blake, who hosted the interview, for partaking in the breezy questionnaire given the serious nature of the film and for failing to speak about the topic. But in Brandon's post on Instagram, he continued by saying, "Trust me when I tell you, there isn't a single person involved in the making of this film that was not aware of the responsibility we had in making this. A responsibility to all the women who have experienced generational trauma, DV, or struggle with looking in the mirror and loving who they see. All I ask is that before you spread hate on the internet, ask yourself who it's helping. Ask yourself if your opinions are based in any fact, or if you simply want to be a part of something. Let's be a part of something better together, a part of a new story written for women and all people everywhere." Now, he concluded, signing off with, "Lead with love and please be kind." Now, that other interview wasn't the only time Blake has acted weird during an interview for this film. In a recent Jake Takes interview hosted by Jake Hamilton, Blake, who appears alongside the co-star Brandon, is asked about how people affected by the movie might approach her in public to discuss some of its themes. "If someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?" he asked Blake. Now, Blake then decided to answer in what she thought was a funny way. She proceeded to make a joke as she sarcastically questioned, like asking for my address or my phone number or like location share. Now, she continued to joke but eventually answered more seriously, but that really wasn't the right tone at all. Several internet users have been left appalled at Blake's initial dismissive response to Jake's question. Her initial response to the first question is so out of touch, one person commented on YouTube, appalled at how she turned a deep personal serious question into a joke, someone else wrote on Twitter. Now, while Blake has touched on the movie's darker themes occasionally, she has been lighthearted for most of the press tour. For example, she's focused much of her energy on her floral looks, which reference her character's name and profession. She even says in the film's official TikTok account's promotion promotional clip, "Grab your friends, wear your florals," as she encourages people to watch the movie, which really isn't that appropriate to say due to the content of the film. Now, a lot of people have also been coming out and accusing Blake of being a mean girl. A journalist just released an interview she did with Blake in 2016 that made her so uncomfortable she wanted to quit her job. Norwegian interview Kirsty Flaw, who goes by Kirsty, posted a video simply called "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job" to her popular YouTube channel earlier this week, and viewers have been left horrified by the 4-minute long footage. Now, in the clip, Blake is promoting the movie Cafe Society and is joined by her co-star Parker Posey. Now, this interview happened months after Blake announced her pregnancy, so the journalist congratulated her by starting off the interview with congratulating her on her little bump. Now, Blake didn't like this too much and mocked her by repeating "Congrats on your little bump" back to the interviewer. Now, Kirsty was clearly not pregnant, and she has now explained that she is infertile, so that comment hurt her even more. That wasn't all though. As the interview went on, the two co-stars eventually started ignoring Kirsty and just had a conversation among themselves. Blake seemingly actively avoids making eye contact with the reporter, and even when she does look away from Parker, she's looking off camera rather than at Kirsty. Now, once the interview time is up, both Blake and Parker appear to roll their eyes and pull a face as the interviewer leaves. Yeah, these two are grown women doing this, and it's just so disrespectful and rude. So since more people have seen this interview, they've been even more upset with Blake, and rightfully so, because her behavior recently has just been absolutely horrible. Now, to get people off her back, Blake's team put out a story about her feuding with her co-star Justin to try to make him look bad, but people are seeing right through it. Blake has told people that there were multiple reasons Justin made her feel uncomfortable on the set of It Ends With Us, and sources with direct knowledge told TMZ that there was a scene in which Justin lifts Blake into the air. According to their sources, Justin has a history of back problems, and before lifting Blake, he went to his on-set trainer and asked how much she weighed and how he could train to protect his back from injury. Now, Blake later found out about Justin's comment and felt that he fat-shamed her. So Blake is trying to make it seem like he was calling her fat or something, when that's not what happened at all. Then another source said the second incident that allegedly made Blake uncomfortable on set is when the two engaged in a kissing scene and Blake felt that he lingered longer than he should have with the kiss. Now, it was also revealed by Blake that her husband Ryan Reynolds helped on the film and even rewrote some of the scenes, especially the most important one where the two main characters meet for the first time. Now, the film screenwriter Christy Hall tells People magazine that the specific scene was probably the trickiest one to tackle because it's perfect in the novel. But when they filmed the scene, she said that she wasn't aware that someone had rewritten the script, as she assumed that the actors were improvising the changes. Like when he says "pretty pleased with the cherry on top" and she talks about the maraschino cherries. When I saw the cut, I was like, oh, that's cute. That must have been a cute improvised thing. So if I'm being told that Ryan wrote that, then great, how wonderful, Christy said. There were a few little flourishes that I did not write, and if those flourishes came from Ryan, I think that's wonderful. Now, while Christy might not have a problem with the rewrite, it's less clear what the film's other stars think. Now, the cast has been pretty split on Blake and Justin. Not everyone is defending Blake like it has been reported, but apparently there are sides, and one anonymous source called it a civil war. Now, it's such a shame that this film has such an important message and behind-the-scenes drama is overshadowing it.
Celebrities refuse to work with Blake Lively. Of course, we're starting with Justin Baldoni. How could we not? The It Ends With Us drama is the hottest topic right now. Justin, if you didn't know, is starring opposite Lively in the new movie It Ends With Us. He also directed it. It's based on the book by Colleen Hoover. It's a highly controversial novel that has turned into a highly controversial movie because it deals with very serious themes in a sometimes unserious way. That's the barest bones of the situations, but let's get into it. During a red carpet interview for the movie, Justin implied that he was not looking to work with Lively again. He was asked by the interviewer if he were interested in directing a sequel should the movie get one. He responded, "I think there are better people for that one. I think Blake Lively is ready to direct, that's what I think." This raised a lot of eyebrows, many wondering if there were some creative disagreements on set between the two. This appears to have been kind of confirmed when a video taken of the pair allegedly fighting on set set emerged. No one knows what their disagreement would have been about, but they didn't look happy. Press for the film has also looked a little odd. Justin, for the most part, has been doing his press alone, whereas Lively will often be surrounded by other cast members, and the same is true for red carpets. In fact, Justin barely took any pictures with his co-stars on those red carpets. People have also noticed the cast and the author of the book do not follow Justin back on Instagram. In an incredibly shocking turn of events, The Hollywood Reporter wrote that there was a fracture among filmmakers in the post-production process, wherein two different cuts of the movie emerged. So they are saying that there is a Blake version of the movie and a Justin version of the movie. The public is taking sides. Some find the fact that the entire movie is distancing from Justin to be suspicious, so they're rallying behind Blake. Others are criticizing the way Blake is conducting herself on the press tour, accusing the actress of downplaying the mature themes of the movie, trying to make it sound more lighthearted than it is, alternatively praising Justin for talking about the mature themes and bringing awareness to them. This is a developing celebrity story, so let us know what you think about it. Armie Hammer is not Blake Lively's biggest fan since she allegedly got him fired from Gossip Girl. At least that's what he makes it sound like. Hammer was asked to name the biggest diva on Gossip Girl. Of course, he couldn't outright name drop anyone, but he did say that it was his love interest on the show. Hammer was only on Gossip Girl for a few episodes and played Serena's, Blake Lively's, love interest, so clearly he was talking about Lively. He further shared that he was supposed to be in more episodes than what he filmed, but the ones he did film were really tough, also hinting that they were difficult because of Lively. In her defense with this one, it took a couple years, but we all found out that Hammer has his own stuff to worry about. Maybe Blake got a weird vibe early on. For anyone, like staring at the screen confused about what all that meant, Armie Hammer was accused of being the type of person that enjoys people as a meal, so not a good person at all. Maybe Blake Lively wasn't easy to work with on the set like Hammer is saying, but as we all found out years down the road, he's got his own weird personal stuff going on too. Reporter Kirsty Flaw has unexpectedly caused a wave of backlash against Blake Lively recently. Footage from a 2016 interview Lively did to promote the movie Cafe Society has resurfaced, and it paints her in a pretty negative light. One moment in particular has everyone buzzing. At this point in time, when the interview happens, Lively is pregnant. So the interviewer says, "Congratulations on your little bump." Lively responds with, "Congratulations on your little bump." The reporter was not pregnant. People are saying that this comment was an extremely rude thing to say to someone who was simply expressing congratulations. It makes the rest of the interview look worse, as Lively does not interact with the reporter as much as she does as her co-star. It's clear that this celebrity reporter pairing will probably never happen again. Gossip Girl gave us the iconic best friends Serena and Blair, but in real life the actresses seem to be anything but. Throughout the run of the show, Blake Lively and Leighton Meester were rumored to be feuding, and the rumors might have been true. The New York Magazine reported that the two girls avoided each other like the plague while on set. The publicity surrounding this eventually got so bad, Lively's publicist felt they had to release a statement saying Blake and Leighton have never been best friends and never professed to be. Blake goes to work, does her job, and goes home. Unfortunately, the statement only added more fuel to the fire at the time. We got an honest answer from Joshua Safran, Gossip Girl's executive producer. He said Blake and Leighton were not friends. They were friendly, but they were not friends like Serena and Blair. Yet, the second they'd be on set together, it's as if they were. Basically, the girls were not like buddies, but they were such good actresses, you would never know. Blake's once shared in an interview that the Gossip Girl higher-ups actively encouraged the cast to act like their characters, wear the clothes, actually be friends, and even date each other. According to Blake, they wanted this because then it fed the whole narrative people could buy into the world. Despite their best efforts, it seems the two never got on in real life as well as they did on the show. Anna Kendrick starred opposite Lively in the movie A Simple Favor, but the press tour left people more confused than anything else. People couldn't figure out how the two women really felt about the other. Both have excellent senses of humor, but often dry senses of humor, the kind where you can't really tell if they're joking at first sometimes. So throughout the press tour for the film, the pair were faced with article after article about their alleged feud. If the articles are to be believed, tension was building as early as 1 month into filming. Right around then is when In Touch Weekly reported that Kendrick made fun of Taylor Swift, one of Lively's close friends, and that allegedly caused an issue. The press tour featured instances instances where the pair would seemingly stand quite far apart, or once Anna Kendrick whispered at Lively to not touch her, or just like little comments directed at the other. They could have just been joking around with each other. New info about this whole situation was still coming out even years after it happened. The podcast Celebrity Memoirs Book Club claims that by the end of shooting the movie, the two actresses wouldn't speak to each other, to the point where the studio allegedly had to have a chat with the actresses to tell them to at least pretend to like each other because it was starting to get obvious that they didn't. The source also alleged that Kendrick was quite competitive, particularly towards Lively, even going so far as to ask for more promotion for the film. It's unclear how much of this is true. People are eyeing the source with suspicion now, especially since the two women have agreed to return for a second movie. A Simple Favor 2 is set to release in 2025, so we have about a year until the next press tour and the rumors start all over again. Blake Lively really does have bad luck with the press though. American journalist Katie Weaver has got quite the one-sided feud with Lively. It's been over a decade of the journalist calling Lively out on the internet, particularly on the social media site X. She has made it very clear that she would never want to work with Lively personally, and has made it her life's mission to remind everyone of where Lively and Ryan Reynolds got married. This is probably the couple's biggest controversy. They had their wedding ceremony in the South at a place that used to be a plantation. The property, it's nice, but no matter how pretty you can make the area look, that doesn't erase the horrible history of the space. People were quick to call out the couple for choosing the venue. They are rich. They could have picked literally anywhere else. Blake and Ryan did end up actually issuing an apology. In case you were wondering, Weaver has yet to say anything regarding the It Ends With Us drama, much to her followers' disappointment. The soulmates of Hollywood, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, actually met when they were both in committed relationships. Blake was dating Penn Badgley and Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. In 2010, the pair played love interests in Green Lantern, then later that year they both ended their respective relationships. The pair ended up casually dating around, even once going on a double date, but not on each other's arm, despite being broken up. When Lively and Reynolds officially got together shortly after that double date, celebrity news sites started reporting that Ryan's ex-wife, Scarlett Johansson, was not happy about their pairing. A source spoke to Us Weekly, claiming that Johansson was angry Ryan had moved on. And finally, despite both women being best friends with Taylor Swift, there are plenty of rumors circulating that Selena Gomez and Blake Lively can't stand each other. After Taylor showed up to the Super Bowl with a celebrity-filled box, people wondered where her best friend Selena Gomez was. Insiders close to the stars claim that Lively, who was at the event, and Gomez just don't mix, so they tend to avoid each other. People quickly started doing the research, searching for any photos of the two women side by side at any of Taylor's numerous events over the years, and almost nothing was found. There was one instance where the two were both at the Saturday Night Live party in November of 2021, but no pictures are there of them together. It's a truly bizarre situation that I'm surprised hasn't been picked up by the masses yet.